The AEW president was asked by comicbook.com if he would be open to working with and or sharing talent with WWE if they approached him about it, to which Tony Khan responded that it was an interesting thought and it would depend on the circumstance. However, Tony noted in another interview recently that wrestling companies hate each other and the competition between them is the most real thing in the industry. He had said, "Everyone knows that the most real thing in wrestling is the competition between the companies. The companies hate each other and it will be a natural resource that powers the industry. They want to beat each other and take everybody's free agents, and that makes it interesting for everybody else." Tony Khan has allowed AEW talent to appear on WWE programming in the past, such as in 2021 when Bryan Danielson, Paul White, and Chris Jericho submitted videos for an episode of WWE Raw celebrating John Cena's 20th anniversary in wrestling. AEW also agreed to allow Billy Gunn to appear on the DX 25th anniversary special in 2022. However, WWE opted not to bring Gunn in rather than adhere to AEW's condition that Billy Gunn would be referred to as an AEW wrestler during the broadcast. TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace did take part in the WWE Royal Rumble earlier this year, as Mickie James had done while she was the Knockouts champion in 2022. Nikki Bella says she recently considered a return to pro wrestling. On the latest episode of the Nikki and Bree show, Nikki mentioned how the twins will get into a wrestling mindset when lifting weights and sometimes think about returning to the ring. Nikki said she thinks she could do a year in AEW and could do it every week. Nikki then went on to say that watching Mercedes Mone debut in AEW had her deliberating about reaching out to Tony Khan, saying, "When I saw Mercedes debut and cut her promo, and that line stuck with me, here we can make our evolution worldwide. It goes into many leagues is what she means. It doesn't have to be at one place. It could be at all the places where all these women are wrestling at." However, Nikki concluded that she was not willing to take time away from her young son, Mateo. The former Bella twins officially left WWE in March 2023 and now go by Nikki Garcia and Brie Garcia. Neither has wrestled since the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. The Rock has his sights set. On Instagram, The Rock reflected on his WrestleMania 40 match, praising the performances of Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. At the end of the video, he teased his involvement in next year's event, saying,
"Congratulations to Cody Rhodes, the new Universal Champion. As I had said, when the final boss returns, he's coming back for you. I'll make you bleed again, boy." Congratulations, Cody Rhodes. Congratulations to my cousin Roman Reigns on an incredible 3.5-year run, maybe even 4 years. Just incredible and iconic and historic. I'm very, very proud of you, Uso. And also congratulations to who I feel is the real MVP of the entire WrestleMania weekend, Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins. What an honor it was to share the ring with you three. What an honor it was for us to break records. And now my sights are set on the next WrestleMania.
The Rock wrestled his first match in years last weekend, teaming with Roman Reigns to defeat Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, setting up bloodline rules for the following night's main event between Roman and Cody. Towards the end of the match, The Rock interfered but was laid out by The Undertaker. Cody eventually won, ending Roman Reigns' championship run. The Rock explained in the Instagram caption that his body feels great but is banged up. Prior to the match, he had a fantastic 12-week training camp.
My body's banged up this whole week. I spent recovering, getting rid of all the inflammation, lactic acid, but no injuries. So that's a key. So anytime you could go through a match like that, whether it's 45 minutes like our match or whatever it is, it's WrestleMania. You leave it all out in the ring like every woman, like every guy did in that locker room, and you get banged up and hopefully you don't get injured. So no injuries here to report. My body feels great. Had a great week of working out, recovering. I did a 12-week training camp to prepare for WrestleMania. I wanted to make sure that I felt like my size was good. I weighed in at about 284 pounds when it was bell time at WrestleMania last week. I felt like my movements were quick, they were sharp, they were fast where they needed to be. I was explosive where I needed to be. My main thing in getting in the ring with those guys, my cousin Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins, I wanted to make sure that my conditioning was on point. because those guys can go, and they've been doing it now for years consistently, and I've been away. So I implemented that 12-week training camp. I flew in a lot of wrestlers for the camp. I had a wrestling ring set up in Hawaii, a wrestling ring set up in Southern California, and one set up in Georgia. And I wanted to make sure, again, that my conditioning was on point, that my cardio was on point, and I can go. And my motor was going and going and going. So I was very happy about that.
Kenny Omega doesn't believe there are any issues between him and CM Punk. During a Twitch stream on Friday night, Kenny Omega spoke about the brawl out incident between the Elite and CM Punk from 2022. The discussion included a fan asking Kenny about where things stand between him and CM Punk. He noted that there is mutual respect, saying we reached out to each other. Here's the thing, I can't really think of anyone that I dislike or have like an issue with, especially an issue with wrestling. There's no issue between him and I as far as I know. I don't think there is at all. I don't want to seem standoffish or like secretive about what happened. Like, yes, there's legalities and all that stuff, but even if there wasn't, and I know this will sound weird because I've done a lot of comedy stuff in wrestling, but like I'm not actually a huge fan of pulling back the curtain on stuff that doesn't need to be out in public. That's why I'm saying, for whatever reason guys were to fight or whatever, like that's not for the public to know. That's just for them to air out their stuff, to get it out of their system. That's all I mean. Omega said he thought his duty during Brawl Out was to enter the situation while there was chaos, de-escalate it, and create a peaceful environment. He was only able to create a peaceful environment for Punk's dog, Larry, which Omega says was the most important thing. Kenny also said that while he has an EVP title in AEW, he hasn't had power in more than 4 years now, calling himself a terrible EVP, adding that he doesn't actually think he deserves to be an EVP. He also added, if people want to ask for my advice, I'll do my best to help them. If there's a fire to put out backstage, I'm going to do my best to be that person. Since December 2023, Kenny has been out of action due to diverticulitis. And in case you missed it, Jon Moxley is the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Moxley defeated Tetsuya Naito in the main event of Friday's New Japan Pro Wrestling Windy City Riot pay-per-view to win the title, becoming the first wrestler to hold the AEW, WWE, and IWGP World titles. It was noted on commentary that Moxley is not a full-timer with New Japan, and that an outsider winning the title could mean major New Japan shows without the title being defended. Also, in case you missed it, in the wake of WrestleMania 40, Tama Tonga has officially arrived in WWE. The 41-year-old Tonga made his WWE debut on Friday's episode of SmackDown. He was introduced as the newest member of the Bloodline, joining forces with Solo Sikoa to take out Jimmy Uso. In storyline, the decision was made without the knowledge of Paul Heyman and potentially Roman Reigns. That's a wrap for this episode of The Latest. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.